So the main excuse I get is that I'm not really in danger. They're talking a lot. They may be threatening, but that doesn't mean they're going to do anything. Adonis Paul knows his fans. He knows that they would talk big but not actually do anything. You're not in any danger. Not really. You're just stupid and believe what people say to you when they tell you that they're going to murder you. I'm pretty sure I've run into Bernice Morgan's boyfriend at least 3 times, and she's made it clear to me that her boyfriend wants me to suffer. Bernice Morgan is an Australian woman who watches Adonis Paul. The only reason she knows I exist is because of Adonis Paul. She was angry for a long time that he was using my videos. She didn't like me. She didn't want to see me. So she was emailing me and telling me that since he wouldn't stop using my videos and she wanted to watch his show, I had to leave YouTube. I had to go away. I had to die so that she would not suffer by being forced to watch my face anymore when Adonis Paul refuses to stop using my videos. Because he would not leave me alone and she didn't want me on the show, she started a campaign to get rid of me. She emailed me hundreds of times a day with threats, with harassment. She told me she has an ex-boyfriend here in Los Angeles who hates me. She said that I gave him a reason to hate me, that we've met and he hates me. The only person that I've met here in Los Angeles who had a reason to hate me is a man who has been following me. First time was on a bus. About a week earlier, I had posted a video where a man was smoking meth on the bus, and I called him out for it. And Bernice Morgan had said something like, you're going to get the wrong one or something. So on this night, I'm on the bus alone. And this man, he's a black man, gets on the bus, sits directly across from me. Even though we're the only 2 people on the bus at the back, he sits directly across from me. He rolls up a joint or a blunt and lights it up and starts smoking it right there on the bus, looking at me, trying to get me to say something to him. But I'm not stupid. When I called out the dude that was smoking meth on the bus, it was a crowded bus. There was a lot of people on that bus to back me up on the fact that you shouldn't be smoking drugs on a confined space. When this man got on and looked at me and noticed me and recognized me and sat down and did a show of rolling up the weed to smoke before putting it in his mouth and lighting it up while looking at me, I was aware that it was a show, that he was trying to bait me so that he would have a reason to kill me. And I was not taking the bait. The bus driver, on the other hand, did say something because she watched him and she saw him. So he tried to blame it on me, and we both stood up to get off the bus. But I didn't. I didn't follow him. I waited until he was off the bus, and then I backed up again. And the driver saw me and closed the doors. And he got mad because he was waiting for me to get off the bus with him. He had a knife in his hand, and he started slamming it against the bus window, yelling for her to open the door again. And she drove off. I think that was Bernice Morgan's boyfriend. He had saw my video. He had tried to do the exact same thing he saw somebody else do that got talked to by me, and he was trying to get me to interact with him in a way that he could use to give him a valid reason in his mind to attack me. About maybe 2 weeks later, I was in the subway. I had just gotten off with a group of ladies I was talking to. They were traveling, visiting. I was telling them how to get to the Hollywood sign. A man was coming down the stairs He had a kitchen knife in his hand, and it's down at his side. And he noticed me, and he made eye contact with me, and he made a beeline directly towards me with this knife in his hand and an angry look in his face. And it looked like the same black man from the bus before. And I recognized that he was coming at me. So I turned and I walked the other direction while getting out my phone and getting ready to film so that I could get his face if he did attack me. And when I turned with my phone real quick to catch him, he veered. Like he realized that I was going to get him, and he turned his head and he went straight onto the subway, and the subway took off. And the girls that I was talking to were standing over by the up escalator watching. And they asked me, "Are you okay? That guy had a knife. What just happened? Do you know him?" I said, "No, I don't know him, but yeah, he did have a knife, and I felt like I was going. I felt like he was going to attack me, and that's why I turned off you guys." So that experience, it wasn't just me that felt like I was about to be attacked. These girls that I did not know that I had been talking to on the subway also felt like I was about to be attacked, and so they stopped their movement to watch what was happening. Third time, I go to Union Station sometimes to use their internet when mine sucks, because government internet, they only give me 10 gigabytes of high speed, and that goes fast. So I'm up at Union Station one night downloading some things, and I notice that a man is staring at me. I mean, just staring at me. And I start to think, is this the same man? He is a black man, and he's tall and thin, and he looks a lot like the other men, but I have trouble distinguishing people. Like, if I knew you and then I saw you again a month or 2 months later, I may not recognize you. I may kind of recognize that I know you, but not recognize you. And so this man is staring at me, and I can feel myself being stared at. Like, you can feel it when somebody is really just... And I got uncomfortable and I left. He also left. He followed me out of Union Station, and he followed me for about 10 minutes before I was turning down alleys that I didn't even know where I was going. I wasn't heading home at that point because I didn't want him to follow me home, so I was just kind of walking in random directions trying to lose him. And what finally lost him was I turned down one alley and made it halfway down it, and then I turned and walked across the street and went up the other way, going in the opposite direction past him, so that it would make, and I was filming by that point, so it would make it clear that if he turned around and followed me, he was clearly following me. And that was how I finally lost him, when I walked back out onto the street, and there was a area where there were some people. I got myself into a public area again. So those are 3 times that I think Bernice Morgan's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend has attempted to make contact with me in a threatening, violent manner in the last couple of months. And I'd say all of this happened in the last 6 months. So when y'all are telling me that I'm not really in any danger, you can't guarantee that. Adonis Paul can't guarantee that. He may think he knows his viewers, but you can't know 12,000 people. He doesn't know. If a single one of his viewers is too volatile, he can't know. He can't control it. He has put out so many lies about me to anger people, and now people are angry, and he can't control what every one of those angry people does. And one of those angry people is named Bernice Morgan, and she's extremely threatening and intimidating. The fact that she has an ex-boyfriend here who is likely just as mentally and unhinged as she is, because you don't date somebody who's not the same mentally as you. Complete lunatics aren't dating normal, sane people. So I have to believe that the man who has been harassing me here in town, and the man that Bernice Morgan says is her ex that hates me and is going to kill me one day are the same man. And that puts me in extreme danger that Adonis Paul will not acknowledge, because he said, well, that's not me, that's Bernice Morgan. Okay, she would not know me if you were not lying about me to thousands of people. You have a platform. You should have a responsibility to your audience to not give them false information, to not inflame them to the point that they're going after innocent people for your sake. Because you got mad at a woman, and so now you're going to have 12,000 people attack her because it's funny to you, and you hold absolutely no responsibility or accountability for their actions that you caused. Trump should be in jail for what he did to cause the insurrection. And it's the same situation. He could stand up there and say all day long he didn't know what was going to happen, but everybody knows he did. He could say all day long that he can't control his people, but anybody with a brain would know that if you have that many people listening to you, you're in control of them to some point. But you can't control them completely because people are volatile. People are dangerous. People are crazy. And you may think you know how they're going to react, and you have no fucking clue. And then you'll say, but it's not my fault, I didn't know. No, maybe you didn't know how it was going to go down, but you didn't do anything to make sure that it didn't go down that way either. Like ensuring that you were only telling the truth. You didn't do that. I told you my family was abusive, and you went to them to validate that. And then just believed them because abusers never lie. This man brags about the fact that he goes after mentally ill women. He finds it amusing to call somebody with borderline personality a liar because it's a trigger for somebody with that mental illness. He likes using women's mental illnesses against them and then telling people that it's not his fault they're crazy, when he knows that he is antagonizing these people's illnesses. He knows what he's doing and should not be allowed to continue profiting off of it on YouTube. When this finally ends, when Bernice Morgan's boyfriend finally kills me, I just want it known that it wasn't just her, it wasn't just her boyfriend, that Adonis Paul is the cause for all of these people that are harassing me. That if Adonis Paul would come out and tell them that he lied, a lot of this would just go away. But he won't do that. Tell me, Mr. Adonis Paul, if I had a lawyer, what was my lawyer's name? You said the court record stated that I had a lawyer. You should easily be able to give me the name of that lawyer. But you can't, because he didn't exist. And that's one of the biggest lies that I get attacked for. People think I'm only not in prison because I was rich and had a lawyer, and there was no lawyer. That is a lie that Adonis Paul came up with to write his way out of his story that he wrote for me. He created a scenario where I should be in prison and then had to explain away the reason why I wasn't in a way that would also anger people. So rich and lawyer, those are words that inflame people. Nobody wants to think somebody got away with murder just because they were rich. So that's what he says, and that's what people believe, and that's what I'm attacked for. We weren't rich. We were extremely poor, and I did not have a lawyer. The reason I'm not in jail is because I didn't do anything. I'm the one that went to the fucking police and told them where her body was. I'm the one that went to the police. I'm not the one that committed the crime. And he will never believe that. He has the court records that say I'm a witness, and he still will not acknowledge that I was a witness. It's disturbingly fucked up. And it's never going to end until they kill me. And I know that. But I'm not going to stop speaking out about it. Maybe my death will save somebody else. I don't know. Maybe after they've killed me, people will finally wake up and start paying attention to creators like Adonis Paul and Hatman and Original Owl, who are only here to antagonize mentally ill people for their amusement and for the amusement of thousands of others who are not all amused, and some are angry and wanting it to end. And they can't control every one of them. They think they can. They think they have the power to control every single one of their followers, that they know exactly how everyone is going to react to what they're putting out. That's part of mental illness. You really do believe that you can just control hordes of people and nothing bad will ever come of it. Nothing that you haven't already thought of will ever happen, because all of these people are under your control. And then you find how hard it is to actually control people.